You have got to end your fantasy basketball season earlier. If you playing right now, week 24, huh? Like, yo, it is silly season on steroids. It is wild out here in these fantasy basketball streets. So if you're still playing next season, talk to your league manager so you guys could finish this season out sometime in late March because this is madness. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. It's down to the last four teams. BetOnline has your tournament bracket headquarters all March long. And now that we're almost down to the finals, we still got a lot more in store. MLB is here, and NBA. NHL playoffs are around the corner. As always, BetOnline is the number one source for your summer sports wagering. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So it's wild out here, y'all. People are still playing fantasy, and I get it, yo. A lot of the platforms make it a default thing, for your season to end in the last week or the week before last. So it makes a lot of sense, especially for new players. We have an episode that's all about how to set up your fantasy basketball settings to make sure that you're optimizing your experience, because you draft players like, Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James and all of these big names, but down the stretch, depending on their situation, they might not even play. And in the end, it got you out here looking like a bucket of hot dumpster juice. I'm just saying. So, even though we down to the wire, this is literally the last week of the regular season, we are still going to dig in and provide some value. Here are the top 12 waiver wire targets you need to focus on for week 24 of the fantasy basketball season. First up is someone that I love. We actually talked about him on the show last week. I had to pull up, bring it back, remix, right? I don't want to say remix too loud. There's a certain producer that's getting flamed right now. You can't even say remix in these streets anymore. Right? Huh? If you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not even going to go there. That's a whole nother episode. So the first guy I want to talk about, again, someone that I'm super high on, believe that if he gets consistent minutes can be super, super effective in fantasy from the New York Knicks. I'm talking about Miles McBride, a.k.a. Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride is rostered in just 22.2% of ESPN leagues over the last 7 days. He is averaging, check this out, y'all. This is crazy, 43 minutes per game. Smell like mama home cooking, yo. It's serious. 18. Let me lean in for this one. Oh my goodness. He is averaging over the last 7 days 18.5 points per game. On the season, just to give you some context, he averaged 19.6 minutes per game at 8.4 points. So it's a crazy increase. 4.3 rebounds over the last 7 days. 2.5 assists. 0.8 steals, which is pretty good. So really, you're going to get some scoring here. In a points league, this works great for you. Also, in a category league, if you're trying to, if you need some artillery for the points category. So Miles McBride. I hope I didn't say Bridges before. Oh my God. Lord forgive me. End of the season, silly season. Deuce McBride, Miles McBride is widely available. So grab him and see if you can use him in the finals right now. Because if you're playing, you're in the finals. Unless you take your consolation bracket seriously, you know what I'm saying? You are most likely playing in your finals right now. So grab him, see if he can help you win that chip. The next player we want to take a look at is a guy that we haven't talked much about here on the channel. Honestly, he's someone who provided tons of value early in the season for fantasy managers, produced on a high level, went down with an injury, and now he's back and kind of finding his rhythm again from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Max Strus. Over the last 7 days, Max Strus is averaging 32 minutes per game, 9.5 points, 6 rebounds, which is really good, 5 assists, yes, and check this out. Come here. 1.3 steals per game. Let's get it. So, again, another player that is widely available, only rostered in 44.4% of ESPN leagues. That number is increasing by the minute. Like, he's one of the most added players on ESPN, so I would look to grab him as soon as possible. The next player we want to talk about is someone that I'm not so high on, but right now he has tons of opportunity from the Los Angeles Lakers, Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura over the last 7 days, averaging 29.3 minutes per game, 15 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.3 steals, but a little less than a block a game, 0.8 blocks per game. So Rui is somebody down the stretch here in silly season. He is somebody you want to see if you could grab him for your roster. The next player is someone we are a little higher on, especially in dynasty formats. Someone we talked about earlier on in the season here on the channel, and he's come up here and there. Again, another person who will be a product of opportunity from the Utah Jazz, Taylor Hendricks. Over the last 7 days, Taylor Hendricks is averaging 22.7 points per game. Yes. 13.7 points per game. Yes. 2.7 rebounds. Nah. 0.7 assists. 0.7 steals. Not bad. And 0 blocks over the last 7 days. So really what you're getting from him right now, currently, it looks like there's some scoring. So someone that I would definitely keep an eye on in this last week of your fantasy playoffs. Next player I want to talk about, someone I'm not really high on, but again, someone that could take advantage of an opportunity here. We're talking about from the Miami Heat, Haywood Highsmith. He has really been, my screen is acting up here. Let me get right here. Where's my picture of my man? Let me get him back there. Let me turn. There he goes. Haywood Highsmith. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 28.3 minutes per game. Yes. 10 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, which is really good. 1.5 assists and 1.5 steals. You know how much we love the defensive stats here on the channel. So definitely somebody, as we go down the stretch, the Heat, they have traditionally and habitually sat players like Jimmy Butler, right? Like Jimmy gets a lot of rest here and there down the stretch. There's no telling what you're going to get from them. He's been taking advantage of the opportunity, so I would look to grab him if possible. Next up, from the Portland Trailblazers, my man, your friend, it's your boy, Jabari Walker. Over the last 7 days, this is wild, y'all. I'm telling you, Chauncey Billups, You know Chauncey just got, it just been named a Hall of Famer. So he's going into the Hall of Fame with Vince Carter. Check this out. He's in Portland wilding. Top is off. Boobies is out. Hair blowing in the wind. Convertible front seat status. Jabari Walker is averaging over the last 7 days. Get ready for this, y'all. This is wild. This might be my favorite player to go over tonight because this is crazy. You ready? Yo, over the last 7 days, your man is averaging 40.3 minutes per game. The 40 ounce, But check this. It gets better. Over the last 7 days, Jabari Walker is averaging 14.3 points per game. But I am not done. Huh? And if you watch it live, make sure you stick around. We're going to do Q&A at the end. I'm just saying, it gets better. Over the last 7 days, Jabari Walker is averaging 14.7 rebounds per game. Your man is averaging 14 and 14. Come on, man. Where they do that at? Huh? Welcome to silly season, my guy. This is it. He's the type of player you want to go snatch him up. I am just saying. I'm just saying. That's some good numbers. In terms of assists, steals, and blocks, nothing to write home about. Not really that impressed by that stuff. But definitely, man, 14 and 14, that might have been my favorite one of the night. All right, let's keep it pushing. We got more. Fresh off an injury, it's your boy from the Houston Rockets, Cam Whitmore. Over the last 7 days, Cam Whitmore is averaging 22.3 minutes per game, 14 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 0.5 assists, and I love this one. You getting some glitches happening over here tonight, y'all. What's up with the screen? Anyway, if you guys are listening, we're having like my graphics of the players are just like disappearing tonight. It's like it must be a daggone bandwidth issue with my internet. Anyway, look at it. 14 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, a half an assist, which is not very good. But check this out. Cam Whitmore is averaging 1 steal per game over the last 7 days. So he's getting those defensive stats that we really, really love. I would check for him. The next player we're going to take a look at, and I'm not going to pull the graphics on the screen just because of the little glitches that we're having there, but we'll still go through and get the value to you. The next guy I want to talk about is someone we have talked about in the channel, has been on the cover of on one of our thumbnails, I believe, from the Portland Trailblazers. Again, your man, Chauncey Billups is acting like he's back in Colorado, Mile High City. I'm just saying. Over the last 7 days, Delano Banton is averaging 34.3 minutes per game. Come on, man. 19.7 points a game. 5 rebounds. 5.3 assists. And check this out. Come close for this one. 1.7 steals per game. Let that sink in. Nasty. Yo, your man is cooking with hot bacon grease, fresh off the wild boar with the hair on it. I'm just saying, your man is for real. And Chauncey is just like firing him up. So I'm all for it. I'm with it. I want to see more of it. Next up from the Toronto Raptors, we got Kelly Olynyk. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 30 minutes a game, 14.7 points, 6.3 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 1.3 steals. Grab yourself some Kelly Olynyk. Next, another player we've talked about on numerous occasions this season, Trayce Jackson-Davis from the Golden State Warriors. Over the last 7 days, 24.3 minutes per game, 9.8 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1 steal per game, and a little less than a block per game. So grab yourself some Trayce Jackson-Davis. Next up, someone we have not spoken about on the channel this season, but it's time because it's the silly season, Chimezie Metu from the Detroit Pistons. Big man, just rostered in 2% of ESPN leagues, so he is widely available. Over the last 7 days, he is averaging 30 minutes per game, up from 15 points per game on the season. 13 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 3 steals per game over the last 7 days. What? Yeah. 3 steals per game over the last 7 days. This is the time, if there was ever a time. Let me give you some stats from his last game. On the 6th of April against Brooklyn, your man played 43 minutes, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. He's out here he's like Spider-Man. On the 5th, he had 4 steals. On the 3rd, he had 5 steals. He's like Sticky Fingers from Onyx. If you're young and you don't know who that is, Google it. It's really, really good music. 90s hip-hop. Next up, a.k.a. Young 50. Your man dropped 50 the other night. Malachi Flynn. Not somebody I'm crazy about. His numbers are kind of like being fudged by his big 50-point game, but still somebody you want to keep an eye on during this time of the year. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 21 minutes a game, 16.3 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.3 steals, which we really like, and he had a big 50-point game against Atlanta on the 3rd of April. So I would at least give him a look to see what's good. So that was 12. That was 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I gave you 12. The top 12 players you need to focus on the waiver wire for week 24. Now, I got to go for a minute before we talk about the actual schedule for week 24. So we're going to go over the schedule, but I just wanted to take a quick minute before we review the schedule for week 24 to just thank you guys for an amazing season. This has been a great season. So many things have happened. The first thing that's just notable, we had an episode, you can go back and check it out, where we talked a little bit about Zion Williamson. And this was the time where Stephen A was like fat shaming and body shaming my man Zion. And I'm high on Zion, but I've been losing faith like many of us. But during that time, I addressed it and talked about it a little bit and made a point that I would try to lose some weight myself, which is wild. One of my boys, one of my former coworkers from vidIQ and one of my fantasy basketball buddies, Tyler, reached out and he was like, yo, something down the lines of like, yo, let me know how that weight loss journey is going. And since then, I'm proud to say that I have lost probably about 10 pounds since even taking on that challenge. So the channel here is like helping me with my health even, which is really dope. So I'm really grateful for that. Another thing, we had tons of guests on the show. So if you go back and look at our pre-season shows, we created content that will hopefully be relevant for years to come. So it's not just for the season, like what's happening this week, what's happening next week. It's content that can help you for your season for years to come. So we had Dan Titus from Yahoo on. We had Adam King from Fantasy Basketball International. We had Noah Rubin from NBC Sports on the show. We just had Zach Hanshu from NBC Sports. We had Dan Bespris from Fantasy NBA Today on the show, from Sports Ethos. Like a wild set of guests on the show, and I'm just super grateful that they all showed up, but also that we have those episodes for you to go back and check out if you want to. Also, I had the pleasure of joining the NBC Sports team, all because of this channel. Like, was brought in to support the NBC Sports team creating fantasy content. Since then, I've had to leave NBC Sports just for like family stuff that I had going on, but I'm super grateful for the opportunity and the experience. It's just made me a better fantasy basketball analyst. So I want to give a shout out to Zach, Noah, Raphael, you know what I'm saying, DJ, for just giving me the opportunity and pouring into me. I'm super grateful for my time with NBC Sports. And then the big thing for you being here, we got the YouTube channel to 10K subscribers. What? Where is the confetti, my guy? What? Crazy. Like the channel, this is our 3rd full season of doing the channel and creating fantasy content. So I'm just grateful for you that we've grown this community to 10K on YouTube alone, which is amazing to me. And then we had our first Discord expert this year. We got one of our community members who's super active, super knowledgeable. So big shout out to Antec, our first ever Discord expert. And then the last thing is just a message to you. Don't unsubscribe. Every season we see a dip in our followership, in our subscriber counts when the season ends. And I'm guilty of it too. When I'm like, my season is over, if I lost, I'll delete the app. We're going to kindly ask you not to do that. Don't delete the app. Don't unfollow us on any of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X, right? Make sure that you especially on Discord. Please, Discord is where we see probably the most dramatic decrease of subscribers during the off season. Stay with us. We're still going to be cooking up content for the off season. We're going to focus on obviously fantasy, but we're also going to create some general NBA content that I'm sure you will enjoy. So make sure you are a two-way player. You subscribe to the YouTube channel and you listen to the podcast. Now, I want to talk about the schedule for week 24. So I want to quickly, it's crazy. I want to say, first of all, we got a bunch of stuff that's happening because it's the last week of the season. And because it's the last week of the season, we're going to see things that just don't look normal. So we got days where there are literally no games, and it's just a bit of a mess. So I'm going to pull up the graphics that I created for you in a moment. But I just want to let you know before you see anything that is strange and it's weird, and honestly, it's a little ugly. But we're going to jump on in. Let's pull up the week 24 schedule. So for week 24 on Monday, we have 0 games. Yes, you're reading it right, 0 games. But on Tuesday, we got 14 games. Crazy. That's a lot of games. Wednesday, 8 games. Thursday, 5 games. Friday, 15 games. Yes, 15 games. And then Saturday, guess how many? 0. No games. Crazy. And then on Sunday, we have, again, 15 games. Insane, y'all. Absolutely insane. Teams with 4 games. We got Atlanta, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Golden State, Houston, Clippers, Grizzlies, Heat, Bucks, Minnesota, Pelicans, Knicks, Thunder, Magic, Phoenix, Portland, Sacramento, Spurs, Toronto, Utah. Teams with 3 games: Brooklyn, Cleveland, Indiana, Lakers, Philly, Washington. Back-to-backs. There's only one back-to-back, which is Tuesday and Wednesday. We got Atlanta, Chicago. My apologies. We got Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, Clippers, Grizzlies, Heat, Bucks, Minnesota. I put Minnesota twice. My apologies. OKC, Magic, Suns, Spurs, Toronto. Now, one thing that's worth noting, I got here back-to-back. On Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, right? There's no game on Saturday. So we have some teams who have that Thursday, Friday, and Sunday game. So really, it's 3 games in 4 nights, but one of those nights there are no games. So you can look at this one as the elusive back-to-back. And those teams are Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Golden State, Houston, the Pels, Knicks, Portland, Kings, and the Jazz. There are only 2 quality games this week. So in terms of the best schedules, it's the teams with those 2 nights, which are Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are the only real days that we can stream because of the way they're loading up on games on those other nights. Those teams are Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, the Clippers, Memphis, Miami, the Bucks, Minnesota, OKC, the Magic, Phoenix, Spurs, and Toronto. So that's it. Final week, and we are going to answer a few questions which is one of my favorite parts of the show, is doing the Believe in Fantasy Basketball mailbag. The coolest thing about it is there might be questions in here that you have yourself. So the first question comes from Straw. Straw says, what are some of your regrets this fantasy basketball season? That's a good one. That's a good one. I won 2 championships this year. I lost another 3. And then, and lost another 3. Didn't win the championship I wanted the most, but made it to the finals in 4 out of 5 leagues. Made it to the finals in 4 out of 5 leagues. Lost early in the other one. Regrets, though. I think my biggest regret might be how low I was on Victor Wembanyama at the beginning of the season. I was lower on him just because I didn't think as a rookie he'd be able to do what he did or even get close to what he's done. So that I was wrong on, and I'll raise my hand. That's one thing that I regret getting wrong. I was way off the mark on that. I was also off the mark on Walker Kessler. So I wish I would have maybe targeted Jalen Duren or Alperen Şengün, and I was really looking at him. So, those are the things. Walker Kessler, I think, was a miss, and Victor Wembanyama was definitely a miss. Great question, Straw. Next question is from Zenix. He says, how do you rate your fantasy season overall? Well, I think my season was great because, honestly, the joy for me in fantasy now is serving you guys. So I think it was after the first season of this channel, I've had to make a decision hey, if I'm going to really provide value and do a good job getting you guys the information and doing the research and just trying to be ahead of the game in terms of giving you recommendations for players and just strategies, that I would have to sacrifice a little bit of my own stuff just because of the way my life is built. So I have 2 kids, I have a wife, I have a day job. I also have my own company doing social media management and consulting. So I have a lot on my plate. So to do this well, I needed to sacrifice a little bit. So I found myself, honestly, I would find information, put the information out there for you guys, and then later on be all right, let me go do it for my team. But before I could get to make the ad or make the acquisition, whatever it is, my league mates, who many of which follow my channel and hear what I'm doing, already beat me to the punch. So for me, because of that, I would rate this season on a scale of 1 to 10 a 10, just because I know that we grew the YouTube so much and we've provided so much value. But 2 out of 5 championships is not bad, but there was one championship I wanted really bad. And the guy that's going to win, if he wins, he would have completed a four-peat in our league, which no one has ever done. And I'm praying you don't get the four-peat, Bill. Teal, beat him tonight. So it might be over right now. I got to go check. I should check while we're online. Maybe I'll check later. Okay. Last question. This is a good one from Reed. Reed says, do you think we should end the league earlier next season? All these rest-type injuries just randomly popping up. Emphatic yes, Reed. You should end your season in late March. End your season in late March. Every year. Don't do this to yourself. This is wild. I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. It's breaking my heart watching so many people go through this. It's a struggle indeed. It is a struggle indeed. So, I'm going to quickly check the chat and see what we got. We got Steve. He says, oh, this is a good one. I'm going to pull this one up, Steve. This is a good one. Steve says, hello, I won my first year. Thank you. That's what it's about. Man, that makes me happy. I love that one. So, now that you are ready for week 24, of the fantasy basketball season, make sure you check out our episode about Dynasty Fantasy Basketball, because that's how you can play fantasy forever.